So every time I use a sample pad, there's a little part of me that thinks that I'm not getting the most out of it. So let's take this groove and use all of the settings in the SPD-SX Pro to make it into this. Now this is really cool and really handy because it suddenly means that we've got layers and different things. So here's how to do it. We're gonna start with the kick pattern because that's the most involved part. And all of this was inspired by Andrew Marshall, who is Billie Eilish's drummer, who did a tutorial a couple of years ago on this, but with the SPD-SX and Ableton, and it was really cool. But I did a whole breakdown video on Andrew's playing with Billie Eilish and the electronics he uses that you can check out just up there. But anyway, the kick. This is how we do it on the SPD-SX Pro specifically. So originally, the kick sounded like this. What we're going to do with this is then take the sequencer feature and tune the kicks. So every time we play a kick, it then shifts to the next sample, which is higher tuned or lower tuned, that sort of thing. Now, unfortunately, we do have to program the tuned kicks because the sequencer doesn't itself tune the kicks. And that means it takes up more pads depending on how many tuned kicks that you want. So for me, I've got 5 tuned kicks and therefore it's taking up 5 pads. So this is a little bit of a downside with doing it this way. The workaround is to put it on the trigger inputs if you're not using any triggers. But I guess if you're using this on a gig, what I would do is then create a patch. So you have the tuned kick patch and then you move across to the rest of the gig. Bit of a nightmare, but that's what kit chains are for, you know? So let's get to the fun part of putting this all together. So interestingly, this is not my SPD-SX Pro. I'm actually borrowing this, which is, yeah, quite surprising. But let me explain. That SPD-SX Pro was sent to me by Jake at Into Music. Now, he hasn't asked me to say this. I'm just saying this because he is amazing. I think it's amazing what he's created, and it's an independent drum store, and it's really important that everybody knows as much about it as they can. So as a quick one, it was so easy to hire this SPD-SX Pro for the last few days to make a bunch of videos, and I did it via the website where he's got literally a whole hire everything. So you can do everything from a PA to drums to an SPD-SX, there you go, to a full lighting rig. It's amazing. So just go check this out anyway, because there's a lot of stuff on here that I'm like, I want to hire that. But what you literally do is just choose a thing, click on it, add it to cart, say the dates that you want it, and then they'll send it to you. Not only that, but they'll also sort out a parcel force pickup. So then when you're done with it, you just hand it back to the delivery person and it's done. It's amazing. And my favorite thing is that Jake started a YouTube channel as well. Highly recommend going and subscribing to their channel, where they've got a week at Into Music where he literally just takes you through a week and runs you through what it's like running a drum shop in the UK, and it's amazing. And a certain somebody might have a shout out in the latest one because of this very product. So there you go. Anyway, like I said, this isn't sponsored. I'm just doing this because Jake is amazing and what he's created is amazing, and you should absolutely go check it out. Anyway, back to the tutorial. Firstly, choose your kick sound. So I'm using the 808 kick that's built in. I believe I found this on patch 24 of the built-in samples. If you want the kick specifically, it's number 221, the 808 hard kick, I think is what it's called. But that's presuming you still have all of the inbuilt sounds of the Pro. Now I'm going to take this and use the tool function to copy it to another pad. Once I've done that, I'm then going to hit that kick and then tune it to where I want it to be. So I think I have one kick at plus 12, one at plus 6, one at plus 4, one original, and then one at minus 6. And I just duplicated this around the pad. So the top 3 are plus 12, plus 6, plus 4. Then I've got normal, and then minus 12, and then I can switch it around. Now you need to make sure that you remember which pad is on which, because this is what we're now going to put into the sequencer. To get to the sequencer, we're going to go to Menu, Kit Edit 1, and Pad Sequence. Then we need to choose how many steps there are. So for me, I'm going to have 7, but this is quite literally a case of playing the pad and counting how many you hit. Then you choose where you want to play it. So for me, I've got the Roland KT10 as a trigger input, and so I'm just going to select this and then play it. You can have this wherever you want. Just hit the place that you want it to play. And then in the bottom left, we're going to hit the set button and we're good to go. So just test that out, play the kicks in the pattern that you want, and just make sure it's all there. There's going to be a little bit of experimentation for you here just to get it in the right place. It took me a minute to figure out how many kicks I needed to play for the loop to loop round, but once you've got it, it should sound great. Now let's talk about the snare part, which is arguably the easiest bit. So if you have an expression pedal, this will be way easier, and I would assign this to an expression pedal, but I don't, so I'm just going to use the knobs on the front. So this is super easy. All you want to do is take the snare sample that you want. Again, I'm using built-in samples. I'm using number 474, the TR-808 snare. Did I just have to look on the SPD-SX Pro? Yes. Although I'm a big nerd, I don't remember where all of the samples are on this pad. That would be insane. But that's the one that I'm using. So I've duplicated this to 2 pads because I want one to be the original sound and one to be the pitched snare. And to do this, I'm just going Tools, Copy Pad, and then copy the snare to where I want it to be. Then to get it to actually pitch change, I'm going to choose the snare that I'm hitting as my normal snare, and that's not going to change pitch. And then the other one, I'm just going to hit the select button, and you'll see the 2 little arrows light up by the 2 knobs, and then written on the SPD-SX Pro, it has pitch. And at this point, I'm just going to whack it up to +12, hit it with my stick, and slowly bring that pitch down, and that's how I do it. It's as easy as that. And then when I want to play the groove, I just switch to the other snare drum. The downside of this is I haven't found a way to reset that to either +12 or 0 once I'm done. So I can kind of only do this once, which is a bit annoying. If you have a way around this, please let me know in the comments down below. The only other downside to this is that sometimes I found that when I'd hit the bass drum, the pitch would then transfer to that because it had seen that I'd hit the thing and was like, oh, you want pitch on this? And my answer is no, I do not. But it would do it anyway. And that is a user error. That's me. It's just very, very quick. So just be careful when you're pitching down that you stop changing the pitch when you hit anything else on that kit. And again, this is why an expression pedal will be a lot easier because you can literally just take your foot off of it and it's a lot easier to control. But either way, it's still, the effect is still the same and arguably this is cheaper. Thanks to Jake from Into Music for sending me the Pro, and if you ever want to support this channel, you can head to patreon.com/drumelectric. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.